Runner. This film was shown on December 14, 2007, directed by Mark Forster, produced by William Herbert, Walter F. Parks, Rebecca Yalda, and Bennett Walsh, and the scenario by David Benioff. The Kite Runner film played by Khalid Abdallah as Amir Qadiri, Zakaria Ibrahimi as Yang Amir, Ahmad Khan Madmizada as Yang Hasan, Humayun Ershadi as the Aga Shahib or Baba, Ato Salioni as Soraya, Sean Top as Rahim Khan, Setak Mawal as Farid, Abdul Salam Yurosov as Asef, and etc. And then the synopsis of the Kite Runner is: the plight of Afghanistan through years of warfare is adorned with stories that are almost always heartbreaking. Khalid Hosseini tries to portray the face of Afghanistan through one of these works that is no less bitter. The Kite Runner is a story about brotherhood and betrayal, sincerity in giving unconditionally, and regret that can paralyze one's strength. Amir and Hassan are two breastfeeding children of the same woman, but they were born into different clans of Afghan society. Amir comes from the Pashtun clan, while Hassan, who is described as Mongolian, comes from the Hazara clan. One was considered a master while the other was no more than a servant. The Hazara people were often chosen in various parts of Afghanistan, but that atrocity will never happen in the house of Baba, Amir's father. Hassan and his father Ali lived and worked at Amir's house. Baba looked after them very well. Amir was the first word Hassan entered when he started to speak. They grew up together, played together, so that the fundamental difference meant nothing at Baba and Amir's house. Hassan really loved Amir, who was his friend and master. Hassan was also Amir's only friend. Hassan always chases the kite for Amir. First, Amir read him stories or does childish misses with Amir. Hassan always applauds Amir's stories and believes that Amir will become a great writer in the future. Sometimes, I think Amir is evil by testing Hassan's loyalty, who he knows will always comply with the request. Hassan is described as a child who is sincere and selfless. He cannot read but is intelligent in reading the Amir or the circumstance around him. Amir, on the other hand, is described as a coward who thrives for his father's attention and affection, who is always busy with his business. One time, when Hassan was catching a kite for Amir, so that Amir could return to Baba and receive praise, Hassan was surrounded by naughty children who had often bothered them both. Amir was there. Hassan had to either give up the kite in order to survive, or to defend the kite and receive bad treatment. Hassan chose a kite for Amir and allows himself to be harassed. At the same time, Amir was standing outside the alleyway, watching everything that happened to Hassan, but too cowardly to run in and even the only brother he had. Amir's choice changed everything. Since then, the sweet brotherhood was never the same again. at least from the point of view of Amir, who bore his own guilt. At times, Hassan returned home complaining after the event were tough times for Amir. And for me as a reader, from the point of view of a person who feels guilty like Amir, Hosseini describes the heavy feelings that Amir has endured, even Hassan unchanging, helping, and of friendship only worsened his guilt. At one point, this story almost made me stop reading. It felt like there was a heavy stone in my heart. Amir's cowardly attitude illustrates a stifling betrayal because the person he betrayed was Hassan, who was innocent and sincere. Husseini illustrates clearly how her life is overshadowed by guilt. The relationship between Amir and Hassan has never been the same since that incident. Much was not said between them until the time they were forced to separate. Feeling of guilt over the decisions he had made continued the way down on him, until a phone call 20 years later forced her to face the burden of her soul. Husseini related this story in detail. Husseini also describes the plot, character, and relationships between characters clearly and deeply, so that readers can really feel the feelings between its characters. Husseini's work made me see several things. Baba's expression of Amir in fact made it difficult for Amir to present himself to his parents. This leads him to become a coward who ends up harming himself. On the other hand, Hassan's sincerity has trimmed down power for the people around him. For you, 1,000 times over, said Hassan to Amir. 4 stars for Khaled Husseini. Okay, I think that's all, and thank you for your attention and sorry for my mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.